Now, if you're thinking about buying an apartment or indeed a house in a development run by a management company, you might be a bit apprehensive considering all the recent bad press that they get. So
how do you protect yourself and the value of your property? Well, Fiona McLaughlin from privateseller.ie is here with some advice. Good morning to you, Fiona.
Good morning, guys.
Now, we've all heard the horror stories, but let's just explain exactly what a management company is and what they do, Fiona.
Sure. The people are getting mixed up between management companies and management agents. And ideally, actually, when somebody buys into a complex, whether it's an apartment or a housing estate managed by a management company, they become part of the management company, and ideally that's what should happen. What the problems that are arising is that when a developer sets up, he initially sets up his own management company, and it's a bit like the failure of communism. The intent is democratic in that owners should be involved in the services that are required by the common areas or by the complex. What is happening though is that the developers are failing to pass back the responsibilities and duties to the owners, and that's where the difficulties are arising. So there's a conflict of interest, obviously, in having a huge influence by the developer on the management company rather than it being run completely by the owners of the complex. There's also a difficulty in that the people nominated initially would have been nominated by the developer. So therefore, it's like even if there is a representative or a couple of representatives from the complex, it's not enough to counter the influence of the developer on the board.
The law clearly say that the developer should hand over the building to the tenants or to the people who own the apartments.
I think there should be a timeline on it, by which time, you know, whether it's 5 years, but something, you know, extensive, but at which stage you say, listen, you know, if you as a developer haven't got this sorted out at this stage, you have to pass it back, you know, full control to the owners of the complex. I mean, another thing that happens is that the management agent, and actually a lot of the controversy is around the agent who's employed by the management company, because remember, the management company are the owners of the complex, and they're lay people. You know, you or I or anybody doesn't necessarily have the skills to be able to run the repairs and maintenance and management basically of a complex. So there are about 1,000 property agents out there, and it's an unregulated industry still, despite numerous reports from the National Consumer Agency and the Director of Corporate Enforcement and all the rest. But the agent also takes the minutes at the meetings, and I think that's a real conflict of interest in terms of who's taking notes of what's happening at minutes and what has been agreed and all the rest. I really think that's something that should be changed.
I mean, if you get a situation whereby they're clearly not doing the job, the place is scruffy, the bins aren't being emptied regularly, say for example, or the paintwork is peeling, and you write to them and they say, sorry, insufficient funds, we're not being paid by everyone.
It depends on at which stage you're at. If you're somebody that's looking at buying into somewhere that has is managed by a management company, then contract is all important. Contract is everything. You need to talk to your solicitor. If the contract has to state if there is a management company involved, so get him to explain that to you and what the rights and duties and obligations are arising out of that. And one of them is the service charge, and you're absolutely obliged to pay whatever it is that is demanded of you. So then it's very important to look to the quality of the management company that's there and what exactly is in that service agreement. Look exactly at the service charges. Look at whether or not, I mean, a lot of the controversies that have arisen around management companies are around management companies that haven't filed returns. They have, you know, a list of charges, you know, but nothing broken down, no receipts for the members.
It's bordering on cowboy business practice.
You're entitled to ask, say you bought a property that's run by a management company, you are entitled to ask to look at how they've spent their money.
Absolutely. You are absolutely entitled to the accounts. You're absolutely, so you can look at the filed accounts with the company's office. If not, you can go to the Director of Corporate Enforcement. The first thing you can do if you're not happy with your management company, I mean, I have to say my tip for the week is get involved in the management company. You know, be nominated or nominate at the AGM and get involved.
See, most people
be in there.
Are too busy. They say they have nothing. They don't want anything to do with it, and then they complain when it goes wrong, and they don't know what to do when it goes wrong.
And it depends on how bad the things are going wrong. You know, so it's a balance of, well, you know, is my time more important spent on the board of this, or am I losing? Because the effect is that if you withhold hold the fees and stop, then there's no money for the services. And that affects on common areas and how the complex looks and all the rest, and that can devalue your investment, your property.
In the current climate, there are people who will have bought apartments who may have lost their jobs, who may have had pay cuts, who are struggling, and so the mortgage usually takes precedence. You got to pay the mortgage or you're out. So therefore, the secondary fee, the service fee, might not be paid, so you're running up arrears. Can you actually lose your home if the agency comes after you for the debt?
You can. Well, you can't lose your home, but they can certainly come after you for the money, and for the costs of the recovery of the fees that they are entitled to. However, one of the things, all is not lost. If there is a conflict between the management company and owners not involved in the management company, you can certainly you can go to the Director of Corporate Enforcement to ensure that AGMs or accounts are filed and that type of thing. If you're not happy with the information that you're getting, you are entitled to breakdown of those accounts. They should also, the management agents should be, they are involved in the detail. So the management company are responsible for repair and maintenance. They're responsible for setting aside a sinking fund should there be any major structural repairs that have to be done unforeseen.
They should have
No, I mean, it's very much down to the management company to decide what that is. They're very much like a chair, like the chairperson of a company, whereas the managing agent is more like the chief executive officer. They're in control of the day-to-day activities of billing people, of doing up job descriptions for companies, of making sure, and this is a big issue, that services are tendered for. And that is a huge conflict of interest where the managing agents, have people,
best mates.
Yes, absolutely, and the services aren't tendered for or whatever. So there's huge conflicts of interest. They're meant to advise the board on all legal matters, all insurance matters, and very often, there have been issues where I've talked to people in different developments that, public liability, the management agent is getting a premium for the insurances that they're buying, and then willy-nilly submitting for insurance claims, which is costing, the initial charge of $250 or whatever to the residents who have no control over what claims are submitted or not.
It's all back to the tip of the week. Get involved and be
Check
active.
out the management company. If you're getting involved in a new development that is managed, check out what other estates they run. Go and talk to the Residents Association and see what the relationship
That's a great
is.
idea, actually. Find out
before
what they're
you get involved. So look to the quality of the management company if there is one involved.
Fiona, we will leave it there. Fascinating stuff. Thank you very much.
Now, after the break,